Hey you guys, welcome to another sit down, sip and share. I'm actually sipping something. This is my second coffee of the day. It's just, I know tonight is going to be a little bit longer, so it's a 2 coffee kind of day. Although I should say I don't feel bad about having 2 coffees ever because I drink like half the recommended amount of coffee to put in, like coffee grounds. You know how you usually put in 2 tablespoons? I only put in 1. So I feel like it doesn't count. Okay, friends, today I want to talk to you guys about something, but I've been chatting with some of my friends about this lately, and I wanted to kind of extend the conversation. I don't really have a direct message to give you or necessarily advice, but I definitely want to just bring this conversation to this space because I really value, sorry about the little dust flex. It's super bright in the kids' room. That's why I'm filming in the kids' room. It's got the best light. It's messy, but whatever. So I apologize for all the dust flecks you see. It's like minus 30 for the past 2 weeks, so just the heat is blasting. There's dust particles floating. Good old life of winter. Anyway, I value your conversation and your input and your wisdom so much. There are so many women who watch these videos and who are just with me in this space. And you guys are so wise and wonderful, and I love hearing all of your different inputs because we all come from different backgrounds and we all have different experiences, and I just find it really valuable, and I know people have found it valuable as well when we start conversations where we can kind of chat with each other in the comment section below, and we can just kind of feed off of each other and just have some things to think about. So I wanted to talk to you guys about parenting today because I feel like I used to talk about parenting all the time when the kids were really little. If you don't know, we practice gentle parenting. Does that mean we're perfect gentle parents? Hell no. Does that mean I yell still? Yep. Does it mean I'm working on it? Yep. That nonsense about like you can't be gentle parent if you never make mistakes, that's complete crap. So if you feel like, oh, I really strive to be a gentle parent, but sometimes I mess up, you're still a gentle parent. Everybody messes up. It's only human. Just that's my little side note PSA. But anyway, I used to talk a lot about parenting because I feel like it's easy to talk about parenting when you're dealing with babies and toddlers and like kids under 3 or 4. It's a lot easier and more common to have parenting conversations around those times, which I think is why there's so much judgment towards baby and toddler ages, but then the judgment really fades once your kids, get like 5 and over because nobody cares anymore. They're like, they're a kid, whatever. Which is so weird. Isn't that weird? Why do we care and feel the need to judge everybody when they're having babies and toddlers, and then they get old enough and we're like, oh, we don't care anymore suddenly? It's like, then why did you care so much and have so much to say when they were little? Very bizarre, if you ask me. Very weird. We should think about that as a society, I think. Deep thoughts with Rainbow. Okay. I wanted to talk about parenting because I feel like nobody talks about parenting older kids. I'm still such a newbie. I feel like your first kid really carves the way, right? You don't know anything with them. Everything is a first for both of you. Poor first kids. Poor first kids. And I feel like after those toddler and baby stages, everybody kind of stops talking about parenting and just expects everybody to be able to figure it out and deal with it. But I feel like there's so much more that comes with the older stages of parenting that nobody chats about and nobody preps you for, and there's not a lot of places where you can go. There's not a lot of resources to talk about this because you're supposed to have your shit together. You're supposed to be going off to your 5,000 extracurricular activities with your kid. You're supposed to be carting them off to here and there, and they're supposed to know Spanish, and there's, you know what I mean? It just gets so intense, and everybody's like, whatever, you know what they're doing, they're alive. You've made it this far, you're fine. That's not true, is it? It's still so hard, if not harder. Older kids come with ease because we're not so busy changing diapers, we're not so consumed with the physical act of parenting, but then they get older and you start emotionally parenting, and that gets really tough because you have to switch from physical parenting, and by physical I don't mean like beating your kids. I mean like holding hands and redirection, and you're way more involved in like the act of parenting. Sorry about that. I had a question from a kid. So yeah, there's just a lot of, it's different. It's just different. You start having to emotionally parent in a different way. It was much easier before because things were simplified. Yeah, the tantrums were huge because there was like understanding barriers, but that doesn't necessarily go away because they don't all of a sudden magically understand things like adults, and then you get the emotional tantrums and they understand more, and they're smart and they're witty and they're funny, and some of the stuff that comes out of a kid's mouth is like, what? You think like 4-year-olds are bad for things coming out of their mouths? Try an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old and you're like, what did you just say? Like, what? So I just wanted to talk about this and ask you guys, I guess the big theme of this video I want to make is, where are you getting your support for parenting your older child if you have one? Or where are you planning on getting your support if you're not quite there yet? What are you doing in preteens, in teen years? What are you planning to do in preteens and teen years? Because I've been talking to a lot of my friends about this, and I've realized that I have such a wonderful support system. And if you guys know, last year, around this time, like in the beginning of winter last year, I think, I posted a video of how, called I'm Lonely or something like that, because I was lonely. My friendships that I had at the time were kind of more acquaintances than anything. They weren't very deep, a lot of them. I wasn't getting much out of them, and there wasn't that, I don't know, I reached an age and just a time in my life where I wanted depth to my friendships. I wanted connection. I wanted, sorry, that's Finn. He really wants up on this chair. You cannot right now. You have to go. They were just lacking something, and I was lonely. I felt like I couldn't share things, and I felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to in a way that I needed. And then once I kind of just put that out there, I guess in my mind it kind of got the ball rolling. And anyway, I ended up soon after meeting so many new people, and now those people are still in my life, and they're wonderful friends, great friends. I have such a good support system now. I have a beautiful group of friends. Each one of them is so different. Each one of them brings me something totally new. I have a lot of differences with my friendships, and I think it's so important because I get something different from each of them. I have friends who have teens. I have friends who have ones younger than mine, and everywhere in between, and I have friends who don't have kids, and there's just so many valuable people in my life now that I feel like I can turn to and I can talk to about this, and it's not so lonely anymore. It's not lonely anymore because I feel like we can talk about this, and I can go to my friend who has teens or friends who have teens, and I can say, like, this is what we're going through. What worked for you during this stage? Like, or what, like, even just chatting to somebody who gets it is so important. And I guess I wanted to talk about this because I'm finding myself, I'm not struggling right now. That's not the right word. But parenting is a challenge, and I'm finding myself challenged, and then I get a groove and I get the hang of it, and then something switches and you're challenged again. It's very similar to how when you're parenting toddlers and babies, things change. You feel like you got a hold of it, and then it changes again, and it keeps doing that. I'm assuming it keeps doing that for our whole life, right? But right now, you guys know I don't like to specifically talk about the problems I'm having with specific children because I feel like that's not my business to share. Their journey of growing up and what they go through is their business, and it's my duty and my job as their parent to protect that and to keep it sacred for just them. And if they choose to share those stories with their friends or when they're older, then that is totally their choice, but it is not my place to share their struggles. So, and I firmly believe that. So that's why it's always been difficult for me to talk about parenting and stuff now that they're getting older, but I feel like I kind of get it now, and I feel comfortable with sharing and what I can share and what it was hard at first because I was like, oh God, I don't know if I'm sharing too much. I don't know what to say here. And now I feel like I know what's not okay, or like what crosses our boundary and what doesn't. So that long-winded thing being said, I am definitely struggling's not the right word. My oldest is 8, and it's just new. It's just new. Everything we're going through is new, and I feel like every time I feel like I've got it, we're smooth for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what happened? Not that it's bad. How do I explain this? Something that makes me uncomfortable or her uncomfortable will come up, and I'll be like, why are we having this issue? Like, what have I misstepped here? Like, where have we gone wrong? Or what have we just gotten lazy about? Like, where does our communication need to open up? And like, are we not connecting enough? Do I need to make time for more time together? Do I need to incorporate this and that? And so I feel like I'm kind of in between those moments right now where like we're kind of smooth sailing, but I know there are things that could be deeper. Does that make sense? I know that I could be reaching her at a different level. Both of them, really. But I feel like I could be doing more. I feel like I could be doing more. And sometimes it's really hard to find what that more is. And where do you get that support? Where do you find what the more is? Where do you get your suggestions for that? I know some people have fantastic support systems within family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, but not everybody has that. In fact, I'd say a lot more people than don't have that than do have it. So, I think I personally right now am going to be rereading some of the parenting books that I read when the kids were younger because I find them very helpful. And I found when they were younger, it was so much easier to reach for a parenting book. It was so much easier to find an online resource. It was so much easier to find things. And I don't know if it's just me and I'm just not seeing where these resources are, but I feel like they're just not as easy to find. So I want to take this video and this comment section to fill it up. Guys, do me a favor, fill it up. If you are going through this and you're just being like, hey, I'm just following along, I'm going through that, you want to share a little bit about yourself, go ahead and please do that. Moms who are watching, friends who are watching, comment on each other's posts underneath this, talk to each other. I will engage in conversation, obviously. Share what is working for you. Share what resources have helped you through the older stages. I am personally in the before preteen stage, but feel free to share everything in between. Teens, preteens, what worked for you at this stage. Like, you don't have to just cater to where my kids are in age, and that's another thing, a little random tidbit too. I feel like it's a little more challenging when you have kids that are older than they are. Do you know what I mean by that? Where they're more emotionally mature or just more mature in general. You feel like you're parenting a different age than you are. And I guess in some ways you sort of are, because they have developmentally, a lot of the times they still have that age, the normalcies that come with that age, but then you're also getting way more in-depth emotional feelings and issues that you might be dealing with that you don't necessarily expect to deal with at that selected age group. So share your resources that you found helpful. If you don't have any and you're looking for some, let everybody know that you're looking for some. Moms who have resources, books, websites, people you admire that are doing it really well and sharing some stuff, share those things, because I'm really interested in this and I just wanted to get this conversation started. I don't want to talk forever. I feel like we could have an hour's conversation with this and still not be done. So the books I am going to reread are two of my favorite parenting books that I really enjoyed, that I feel like could apply and touched on things that were not just for toddlers. And I know a lot of these authors have books for older kids. I just haven't read them yet, so maybe I will. So I love Unconditional Parenting by Alfie Kohn. A lot of people know about this. This book is a little bit of like, it's a little harsh if you're not ready for it. Like, it just throws facts and child development at you, and like treating your children as equals, and it kind of really makes you dig up stuff and like face things that are not so great that you're doing, but it's really good. It's really good and it's really helpful. But I definitely always say that it's like, it's a little bit of, it can be a little bit of a shock to the system, because sometimes it's like, oh man, I do that, or oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or you know, but just take it for what it is, and like, just if you can pull something from it, it's such a good book. So I'm gonna reread this one, I think. But also, one of my other favorite parenting books is called The Danish Way of Parenting. I love this book. I really like hygge, and the whole theory of it is how I survive winter in Canada. So to take that kind of lifestyle and that culture and to incorporate it in parenting, and you know, the Danish are some of the happiest people on earth. We all know that. Of course everybody has their problems, but you know what I'm saying. This book is really, really good, and I feel like a lot of this stuff can be applied to all ages. And sometimes you just need to reread or like go back on advice or things that helped you before, because sometimes you might not know what you're looking for, but something can just trigger a little aha moment for you. And I guess I'm just like looking for those little aha moments, and so that's what I'm hoping to find in those books. But I just wanted to share them with you in case you were looking for something. I do have some other parenting books. Like I have, Happy Kids, Happy Families, Happy Baby, Happy Parent, Happy Kids, Happy Mom. I don't know, something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know that book. So anyway, I don't want to talk your ear off too much, but I wanted to just leave you with these thoughts. And I just kind of wanted to get this conversation rolling and ask you, have you found support raising older children past the toddler stages? Do you feel isolated now that you're past the toddler stages, or maybe going past the toddler stages? Maybe you're like just entering that over the hump of like 3-4 years old where everybody expects you to have your crap together. Do you feel supported, and what are your best resources and support for this phase of parenting? If you don't, then also tell me about that. Tell us about that. Let's help each other out a little bit here. So just share some resources with me and with everybody else here. And this is what I love about my YouTube channel and my little community that we've built here, is because this is full of good people, like some really, really good people. And I love when we can help each other out, and when I can provide something that's a little bit more beyond me just talking at you guys. So if you guys want to share, please take the time to share below. If it's just a resource, or if it's a little story, or if it's that you're struggling, or if it's that you really found something good, or whatever you'd like. And let's talk to each other. So until next time, I will see you tomorrow with a normal vlog, and maybe we'll pick this conversation up next week. Of course, if this triggered anything that you would like me to make a video on or talk about in the next video or an upcoming video, let me know. I'm always more than happy to accommodate those things. So I guess I'll just leave you with that. Something to munch on this week. And this weekend, I guess, is coming up. So thank you for watching, you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye!